What a great pass there, used the draft on Miguel down that straightaway. Going down into Canada and was able to outbreak him. Now
Miguel right back at him.
Yep.
Zemke sniffing around the outside of his teammate and up this very long straightaway. Reaching speeds, Freddie, as they approach turn 1, around 195 miles an hour.
You're carrying so much speed at the end of the straightaway. Getting on the brakes, get the bike to turn in, and then pick up the throttle as soon as you can. Now Ben Speed's got his head down. He talked about he ran for a good time on race tires, and if certainly he can run down in the mid to low 12. Now let's take a look at the pass. You got to drive on Miguel down the straightaway, going down into Canada, up inside, just enough on the brakes to block Miguel, being able to turn in and hold his line.
You know, Road America is a unique racetrack for that very reason. You have to be very, very fast, but you've got to be really good on the brakes.
And very precise, because my theory always has been, you know, you make up time in fast corners. This racetrack, majority of the corners is fast. We're looking at Matt Milan there trying to catch this lead group of 3 riders. But these corners are so fast, and you got to be precise, Ralph, at this speed, because you only have a few inches of making a mistake, and you know, not so much as far as a crash, but certainly affecting your time and being able to pick up the speed. Now the 2 Ducatis, looks like Neil Hodgson has gotten around Ben Bostrom.
Yeah, that would be for 5th place. They've got Tommy Hayden glued right to him on the big green Cowie.
And they certainly have improved as each race has gone on with the Kawasaki continuing development program with that machine. Of course, Roger Hayden, his brother, broke his leg in the Super Sport race at Birmingham, or Superstar, excuse me, and he's not able to be out there kind of help his brother, you know, working on and testing things. So it's up to Tommy to continue this development program.
Yeah, I talked to Roger earlier today, and he says that supposedly, if everything was normal, it'd be at least a 2 to 3 month healing process. He ripped every ligament in the zone that you could possibly tear, and he said, unfortunately, with me trying to hustle back, it's just delaying the recovery period.
Exactly. Got to allow things to heal. You can see Matt there is caught the 3
He's using all the racetrack up, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Now here comes that big climb up the front straightaway. And Freddie, this hill right here is much steeper than you think.
It
right
is.
there.
And when you come up over it on these bikes, and you can see there, look at Tommy Hayden picking the wheel up. There's 4th, you get 5th gear as you come up over that rise, and then go to 6th gear. They're running 195, Ralph. If they didn't have that hill, they'd be probably running close to 200.
Down through 1. Here's your leaders again. Ben Spies, Miguel Duhamel, Jake Zemke, and now Matt Milan has reeled them in. He was the fastest guy in qualifying, and we can see the speed is there, Freddie. He's catching him.
As they go by, you just saw there, Ben Spies has run the fastest lap of the race so far, 2:12.6. But Matt Milan has got his head down and has caught the 3 riders in front of him, Ben, Miguel Duhamel, and Jake Zemke. Now, like I was saying earlier, the Suzuki's mainly ran in qualifying on the race rubber, and Ben had said if he needed to, he felt he could run a 2:12 flat, maybe even get down in the 2:11s. So far, his fastest lap has been a 2:12.6. See, they're heavy on the brakes as they come down the hill, getting ready to go in the carousel.
Freddie, I thought I saw a little bit of smoke coming out of the 1. Let's keep an eye on Matt Milan's bike. Maybe my eyes are deceiving me. It wouldn't be the first time. But it's definitely, I think, smoking out of the back of the 1. We're hearing some reports from around the racetrack. And let's see if we got a replay of that, too. Sometimes with the monitors, it's not as clear as you'd like it to be. But I thought it did. Now, this is going into 5. Yeah, see it?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, for sure right there.
Absolutely, and that could be a sign of, obviously, a couple of things. Sometimes, you know, get a little oil in the engine and it throws it out the exhaust. We'll just have to see. If he starts slowing down, that's certainly going to be the indication that he's having an engine problem, which you don't normally see. Yoshimura bikes have been, and all the machines, but they've been certainly over all these championships, very few mechanical problems.
Yeah, reliability has definitely been one of their strong points. Man, he uses up all the racetrack coming out underneath that bridge, doesn't he?
Well, he just tried to get as big of a drive as he can, and that worked for him. He drafted Jake up the hill, and we'll have to see the drag weights down into turn 1 on the brakes. He's made the pass pretty easily.
So Mladen with potential smoke problems coming out of the back of the bike, not allowing it to slow him down just yet as he makes his way up into third. Can the reigning champ be the one to stop the streak as he closes in now on Miguel Duhamel?
You can see there he set the track record in qualifying. And Matt certainly wants to make a statement. If he can get a bad start, come from the back and work his way through traffic, and Jake Zipke heavy on the brakes, kicking the rear and out. If he can make a statement today, it certainly would be impressive.
Stay with us to find out if history will be made on speed. Here at Road America, we're waiting and watching to see if history will be made with Ben Spies, your race leader here in this 16-lap affair around this very long 4-mile racetrack here in Wisconsin. That's Spies on the 11. Miguel Duhamel on the Honda, number 17, runs in second. Matt Mladen, who is closed in on the number 1 Suzuki. Spies, his teammate, sits in third, and then Jake Zemke, the other factory Honda, number 98, still holds to fourth. But we're watching to see if the smoke continues out of the number 1. Now, Freddie, they're headed through the Moraine sweep here, down to turn number 5, which is a corner that can really suck you in.
Well, because of the speed that you're carrying down the middle straightaway here, and you can kind of see it there, the elevation, it's a downhill. The track goes downhill under braking as Ben Spies is trying to get away from Miguel. But on the brakes there, and you've got to slow the bike down to second gear. And as the race goes, you know, these brakes will fade because you're using a lot of brakes at speed, getting the bike slowed down. They get a lot of temperature in the rotors and pads, and it certainly will, you'll have some brake fade. But looking at the times, one of the things that really is impressive for Miguel is the quickest time he's run all weekend is now on race tires at 2:12.6 that last lap. And one of the things Miguel was saying earlier is he felt the bike, his Honda had the power, he had exactly what he needed to do. Al and the team working well, getting the bike working for him. And if he could get off with the leaders, that he could run the pace, and he's certainly doing it. Now he's under pressure from Matt.
Of course, that's Al Ludington you're talking about, who works closely with Miguel and all of his stuff. They've been together for so many years, so many successes. And now here comes Mladen. Hard after him on the number. Oh, we got a trouble here for the number 13 machine. That's Corey West. He's off into the sand trap. Couldn't tell where that was at. Now watch, here's where Mladen used up all that racetrack, coming right underneath the bridge here. Look how much farther out he goes.
Well, he's just carrying a lot of speed out there, and then he brings the bike back, gets the bike squared up here, and really gets on the power early, and he's going to now try to draft Miguel as they come up over the hill, and try to make the pass going down into turn 1. You can see carrying the front wheel over the top, and now he's making a pass up the inside.
Beautifully executed.
Absolutely, and that came from getting a great drive out of the last corner.
That really goes 3 corners back, Freddie, coming up underneath that bridge. He set it up right there, as you said.
And Matt Mladen has now had the fastest lap of the race, a 2:12.2.
Greg, what do you got for us?
Well, earlier Freddie was talking about brake fade on these super bikes. I wanted to show you something really quick. On the left side of Ben Spies' backup bike here, this is an actual adjuster knob. And what this allows Ben to do is if the brakes start to fade, he can make an adjustment on this while he's at speed. And what it'll do is it'll actually push the brake lever back out. So as the fade happens, which means the brake lever is coming in close to the knuckles, the adjuster will allow you to get more feel and keep this brake pressure. It's really needed around this racetrack, right, Freddie?
Freddie, how much adjusting do you have to do to see a difference in feel?
Only about 1 or 2 turns, and that was a great point, Greg, there, because these bikes, of course, add speed, and they're getting on the brakes so hard, going down into 1, down into 5, and it gives the riders feel. That is something that's really only been put on the bikes about the last 10 years or so. And so it makes it certainly better for the riders. They can adjust that out. And what Greg's talking about is you can turn the knob and have the lever go out and give you more feel. Because if not, they'll come back at your fingers, and then you're kind of limited on how much braking power you can use.
Perfect example of the brakes at maximum use here. And look at Mladen headed to Canada corner. Here comes the reigning champ looking to break up the streak. Stay with us.
Road America, what can you say? You know, there's all these beautiful trees out here. The weather's awesome this year. Luckily, we don't have any rain like we did last year. But normally, the fans here are really friendly, and it's always a good time to come up here. The air's clean. I like it.
We've got a battle for the lead at Road America, the Suzuki Superbike doubleheader here on Speed. Ben Spies trying for 7 wins in a row, and his teammate Matt Mladen trying to stop the streak right here, maybe by the time we get to turn 5.
Well, Matt Mladen certainly has his head down. He's looking up the inside on the brakes, but not quite close enough for Izzy.
Oh, he's got him. And you can hear the crowd cheering, but he drifts wide, and now Speed's back up the inside, holds him off, up the hill to 6.
That's an old dirt tracking pass. The guy gets up the inside, you wait a little later and square it off and make the pass up the inside. Now but we got a great battle going on here, and in fact, Matt again ran the fastest lap of the race, the last lap, 2:12.2. It's allowed them to pull away just a little bit from Miguel.
Now this is setting up Canada Corner, Freddie, because we're sweeping through the carousel again. We saw Spies pass Miguel down in Canada Corner. They should be able to stay in this position going through the bend at the kink here, and then really getting a drive through there is what Matt needs to do to go. Well, why wait for Canada Corner when you can get it right here? Mladen gets it done, going right into the bend, Greg.
An incredible move by Matt Mladen to take over the lead. Now, you were talking about Canada Corner a moment ago. I wanted to bring up gearing. When these guys get to Canada Corner, and Ben Spies might try to make a move back on Matt Mladen, the question is, who's got the gearing for it? Freddie, explain a little bit. When you go into Canada Corner, that is actually the most gearing you use on this racetrack because the motorcycle's leaned over and the RPM's increased.
Well, Greg, another thing too is for most of the teams, they don't test here that, you know, except when they're here on the race weekends, and each year you get more horsepower. In the older days, a few years ago, you could change the transmission and actually gear the bike for a particular corner, in Canada being one of them, because you're downshifting down in the second, third gear, and then you're carrying a lot of RPM through the corner, and that you could gear specifically as Ben Spies is looking up the inside, but not quite close enough. So these riders, high-speed straightaways, and a lot of the corners, the RPM may be off a little bit, and so sometimes it's a compromise. Ben Spies was talking about that. They were still trying to get the bike geared properly, even as late as yesterday afternoon.
One of the things that's going to be interesting to watch about today's race, Freddie, is coming out of that last corner. It's very similar here at Road America to coming out of the chicane at Daytona. You don't want to be the lead guy because of the draft. However, Matt is, as we watch Ben now trying to set up a pass at 5. Can't get it. Mladen will hold on for now. But Matt's got such a unique line there, 2 corners back, that he might have that edge that's going to allow him to hold that draft coming up that hill.
Oh, as Ben Spies almost lost the rear end just a little bit coming out of the corner. Well, certainly that's going to be interesting to see, and Matt's going to know that. He's going to know if he is stronger. If he's stronger off that last corner, he won't mind leading it. Now we'll have to see, because certainly if you look at the 2 guys, Ben is certainly riding aggressive, but you can tell Matt Mladen really wants this race badly.
Well, let's show you what just happened to Ben.
Now watch here as he picks up the power and rolls the throttle on, making the transition there. The rear end comes around up on the paint and really breaks traction. Really not that bad, not close to crashing, but certainly allowed him to lose his drive. Got the rear tire up on that paint. Now Matt has gained about 20 bike lengths. Will Ben get back and push hard and try to get back in front? We'll have to see.
Down to Canada Corner one more time. Matt Mladen leads here at Road America. Tomorrow on Speed, the Champ Car World Series is on Speed. Sebastian Bourdais holds a firm grasp on the points lead, but the surprise might be Paul Tracy sitting outside the top 5. Can Tracy go back-to-back in Milwaukee to salvage his season? The Champ Car World Series for the Milwaukee Mile tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. Eastern on Speed. Here's Steve Rapp with our Progressive Direct onboard camera. The Jordan Suzuki rider currently sitting in 9th place. And right behind him in 10th is his teammate, Jason Pridmore. And then Holden right behind him. Jake is in 11th. So the Jordan bike's running 9, 10, and 11.
And Jason Pridmore, normally he has a Superbike chassis with a Superbike engine, but this weekend he's actually had a couple problems with that engine, so he's running the stock engine just like his teammate Steve Rapp in this chassis. The Jordan Motorsports Suzuki team, veteran racers doing a good job out there battling on this fast racetrack against the real, of course, the factory teams. What a great shot here as we watch here coming through the King. Now they put in the chicane. It's a lot slower through here. Coming down the cannon to still carry quite a bit of speed. On the brakes, the bike moves around. You can see there that patch. One of the things the riders have talked about a little bit is the patches are good. It's just the seams aren't completely even. So you get a little bump there in the transitions. And this is where, Ralph, you were talking about Matt carrying a lot of speed. So important here to get the bike out to the left, get it turned, so you can really get it drive up this hill. A mile an hour or 2 exit, getting it, or more, getting it, carry a little more speed on the exit is 3 or 4 miles an hour within the straightaway. Big difference. You can see they're up over the rise. The front of the bikes come off the ground. And then this straightaway just seems so long down into turn 1. One of my favorite corners. I've always liked 1 and 2. If you get this right, you can really gain 3 or 4 or 5 tenths of a second through there.
Craig, you got more force than the Jordan bikes?
Absolutely. You know, Michael Jordan, of course, lives in Chicago, so this is his home race. He's here. He's got a lot of family here and a lot of friends here. A lot of pride on the line with this race team. So he's really happy to see his guys running 9, 10, and 11. All 3 Jordan bikes running pretty close to each other as Jason Pridmore really trying to figure out a way to get around Steve Rapp. A great race going on.
Yeah, and right in front of them to show you why Michael should be proud is the factory Kawasaki. So, they're having a very good outing here, and they were strong. It's Infineon Raceway as well, so good things expected out of the Jordan bikes. Now here's your race leader, Matt Mladen.
Matt Mladen up front. Last lap, he ran a 2:12.4, about 2 tenths off. His fast lap so far, you can see it stretched out almost about 1.5 seconds. And when they come across the line this time, it may be a little bit more. That last lap, he had a 1.3 second lead. 7 laps to go. That's a lot of time around this racetrack. It's not very hot today, so it's not as hard on the tires as it might be, but still you have to conserve rubber on that right side.
The only way to describe the weather here this weekend, absolutely gorgeous. Stay with us. The battle for the lead here at Road America has still stayed the same. It's pretty much stabilized with Matt Mladen out in front of Ben Spies. There is a good battle brewing back behind them, however, between the factory Honda teammates. We saw some smoke out of Mladen's bike earlier, but it doesn't seem to be affecting him any. Now Spies, on the other hand, can't seem to gain any ground on him. Now here's the 2 Hondas we talked about. Miguel Duhamel led this race at one point. Freddie East dropped all the way back to 4th with Zemke now up to 3rd.
Very unusual thing has happened here. Miguel ran in the beginning of the race at 2:12.6, and the last lap he was a 2:13.5. He actually even slowed down in the low 2:14s, which is something you normally don't see with him around this racetrack. Someplace he has won many times and loves because it is a very high-speed circuit, and he's very good around them. But Jake reeled him in, was about 1.5 seconds behind him, and has reeled Miguel in, has actually made the pass for 3rd position. Now as we're dropping back, the next riders we'll see is Neil Hodgson and Aaron Yates, about 11 seconds down on the battle for 3rd position. Neil Hodgson looks like he has 5th position now pretty much under control. Then Aaron Yates and Tommy Hayden, and then Ben Bostrom has faded back to 8th position.
Yeah,
Definitely struggling for him. Now Tommy, of course, battling with Aaron Yates for 6th and 7th position.
And Tommy's kind of making his way up through the field. That's Yates on the blue 20, the Suzuki, and then right behind him, the green Kawasaki, number 22, Tommy Hayden. You remember, Tommy had drifted back a little bit, and now he's starting to fight his way back up through the field a little bit. Maybe the Kawasaki starting to come around a little bit for him.
Oh, is Aaron Yates there under brakes, a little bit bobbling into turn 2. But certainly Tommy Hayden, who was battling with Neil Hodgson and Ben Bostrom, as we saw earlier in the race. But Aaron Yates has come up through the pack. And now looks like he's got his head down. This group of riders are all running about 2 seconds a lap slower than the lead pair of Matt Mladen and Ben Spies. Just shows you the difference in speeds that we have so far in the race.
Aaron on that number 20 Suzuki, the other Yoshimura factory Suzukis, was working a lot on the front end of that bike all weekend long. As we go back to Bostrom now, Bostrom in 8th position.
Yeah, certainly Ben has struggled here during this season to be able to consistently run a quick enough pace to be able to be up front. A veteran racer who's won a championship here and certainly has won races at the World Championship Superbike level.
Behind him, Steve Rapp on the Jordan Suzuki with the progressive direct camera. 15 seconds back behind the Ducati of Bostrom, and he's still in the middle of that battle with his teammate, Jason Bridmore, on the number 43 machine.
And we talked about it earlier that, you know, this is certainly an important race for the Jordan Motorsports team, and 9th, 10th, 11th position, you know, the first non-factory riders, the real factory riders as far as factory supported teams.
Of course, Tinker Hatfield and Mark Smith do all the bike design on the Jordan machines, and they're the guys that did the first Air Jordans, Greg.
Yeah, they certainly did, and great looking motorcycles as well. It'll be interesting to note what happens in the latter part of this race. Steve Rapp is on his super stock machine, where the rules state you can't change the fuel tank. Jason Pridmore on a super bike, where they're allowed to go the full 24 liters. And fuel mileage around this racetrack, very important. The number 59 Jake Holden is also on his super stock machine. So we'll have to see what happens when the laps wind down, who has the fuel.
Fuel is definitely going to be an issue in this one. Oh, look at this. Hayden continuing his march towards the front. He gets around Aaron Yates, and that'll put Tommy up to 6th position. So Tommy Hayden picks off another one, trying to work his way up to Neil Hodgson to see if he can break into the top 5. Mladen continues to lead speeds here at Road America.
The best part about Road America for sure for me is the track. It's just the longest track, and it's got a lot of elevation, and it has a little bit of everything with the track. And for me, it seems to really suit my style, and over the years, I've had pretty good success here, so I always look forward to coming here.
10 speeds on that number 11 Suzuki, trying to catch the reigning champ, Matt Mladen. And Freddie, he's turning the lap times that should allow him to do that.
Well, the lap before last, he ran the quickest lap of the race, a 2:12.1, which was about a 10th quicker than Matt Mladen's quickest lap. But the impressive thing is that this lap here, Matt Mladen stepped it up and ran about the same time as Ben did, a 2:12.3. It's like he gets almost to under a second, you know, gets within a second of Matt, but can't quite get close enough. Now they're getting in traffic, and you don't get in a lot of traffic here at this race because it's such a long racetrack. But it's certainly, if Ben catches it at the wrong time, or Matt catches it at the wrong time, it certainly can have an effect.
The interesting thing about that too is if you go back to the race 2 weeks ago at Infineon Raceway, Ben said after the race that he was always able, when he saw that Matt was turning it up a little bit, to step up a little bit more and pull back away from Matt. Now Matt's doing the absolute reverse on him here today at Road America. It looks like they've caught the 81 machine. See our Gittery right there.
Well, you can see there, Tommy catching it at the wrong time. Matt Mladen caught him on the entrance, and it certainly hurt him. But it helped him at Ben Speeds, and now he's closed down about half that distance.
And Freddie, I could have sworn I saw a puff of smoke coming out of the back of the 11 as well through the carousel. So they're both suffering some sort of an issue with these two bikes. We saw smoke out of the one earlier as we head back to Canada Corner, but it doesn't seem to be affecting performance.
Well, they're both doing it, so I don't even think it's an issue. As you can see, Ben is almost closed down right on the back wheel of Matt Mladen. Certainly that left rider hurt Matt and helped Ben. And that last lap, now they're going to come across the start-finish line. Now he's close enough to maybe catch a draft as they come up the hill. Matt Mladen running a great line coming under the bridge. Now Ben Speeds getting a good drive onto the front straightaway. They'll be coming up on 2 laps to go.
Well, he really opens up a gap through there too, and I'm surprised now that Ben has followed him for a handful of laps that he's not running the exact same line through there to see if it works for him as well.
He obviously doesn't feel like that there's really an advantage for him, but he's closed down on the back wheels of Matt, so he's obviously doing something right. these big super bikes, you can see the black lines as they come in at turn 1, trying to get the power to the ground, laying down the rubber. Let's go down to Greg. What you got?
Just want to talk about this smoke issue that you guys are talking about. Basically, when we come to Road America, you'll notice the scenery around here is absolutely beautiful, especially through the section they're going through right now, heading to turn 5. There's a tremendous amount of trees here, and we're almost 1,000 feet elevation. Well, the oxygen here is so dense that they richen these motorcycles up quite a bit in order to get them to maximize horsepower. Well, with the rich fuel mixture on that, what you might be seeing is a little bit of the extra fuel, a little bit of smoke coming out of the exhaust that you might not see when we go to racetracks that don't require as much fuel mixture.
Exactly right, Greg. There's a couple things. Both the bikes are doing it, so certainly it's no big deal. But the key here is Ben Spies just set a new track record of 2:11.3, and he talked about, he mentioned it to you earlier, right, Greg, that he felt if he needed to, he could run on race tires and get down in the 2:11s.
Absolutely, Freddie. That's exactly what he told me. He said he wanted to run the first 4 laps in the 2:11s. I don't think he predicted that his motorcycle was going to work this well, but with the larger tanks on these motorcycles, as the fuel load decreases, it makes the motorcycle handle a little bit better, right, Freddie? And that gives him better front-end feel.
Exactly right. One of the things these riders deal with at the start is, in fact, they top them off before they throw the green flag, and that's one thing they have to adjust to is that extra weight. These bikes, they push the front end through these high-speed corners. So now, and I mentioned earlier, it's such a nice day. The track temperature's down. They still got a lot of grip late in the race.
Well, you can see Taylor Knapp on the 87 trying to get out of the way the best he can as they work their way through some of the lower field. Now here comes Dean Misdahl on the 38 as the next rider up.
You know, for the rider, that's certainly giving him a great boost, and Matt Mladen can pull this off and break the streak of his teammate of 7 wins. He's certainly giving it all he has, and Ben Spies now going to white flag lap, going to try to close down on him as he comes down into turn 1.
Mladen gets a great drive up the midway up the hill, which is going to be the drive to the checkered flag. It's after that point where you really see Spies close him going into 1. He's going to be out of racetrack by that time as we come to the checkered flag. So where do you think Ben tries to set it up here on this last lap?
Well, the first off, he's going, as they get a drive down out of turn 2 down to turn 5, is can he get close enough to try to outbrake him going down into the left-hander? He's looking up the inside. Matt's protecting the inside line like he should. Ben's not close enough. This is one of the areas where certainly he would try to outbrake him, but not close enough to do it.
Now, headed up the hill out of 5 to turn 6. Ben Spies chasing history on that number 11 Suzuki, trying to become the first rider. Oh! And he gets on the gas hard, and it starts to step back from him.
That is the corner where he lost the rear a little bit earlier in the race, except he was out on the white line. Now the next corner might be as they come out of the carousel before you go into the chicane. Now we're back here with 3rd position with Jake Zimke and Miguel Duhamel. Miguel's going to try to close down on Jake for that last podium position as they come through going down into the carousel. Now Matt Mladen, you can see Ben is not close enough to make the pass there going in the chicane.
All right, now that sets us up for Canada
Absolutely.
corner. You got to get a good drive out of here and carry as much speed as you can heading to Canada corner. And it looks like a slower rider in front of them, but I believe he might be too far ahead by the time we get to Canada. They'll deal with him after. Under braking.
This is not close enough. Now the next area is going to be coming into the right-hander before they get on the front straightaway to try to make a pass under braking.
This might come into play here now with their lap rider, because I'll tell you what, Freddie, after this, oh, Mladen couldn't run his normal line, and here comes Spies. This could change things as they come up the hill. Mladen picks up the front wheel. Here's the drive to the checkered flag, and it's going to be Matt Mladen starting the streak at 7. He can't get it done. Ben Spies wins 6. Matt Mladen stops the streak to pick up his 2nd victory of the year. We'll be back to talk to them after this.
Welcome back to Road America. We're in Victory Circle with number 1 plate of Matt Mladen, who won this race in fine style. Matt, first of all, congratulations. It was an awesome race from where we were sitting. What about from your helmet?
Yeah, it was a great race, you know. We got a bit of a bummer of a start there and had some ground to make up and really pushed hard, and Not too sure what happened off the start, but I'm going to have to get out of those again. I got into those last year and it wasn't good fun coming from a long way back. But it was a really good race and Ben pushed hard there. I got a little bit of a gap and then a couple of the lappers and he got 0.3, and I'm like, oh, geez, you know, I'm trying to keep this thing at a second, you know. But he done a great race and pushed me all the way. But, you know, it's nice to be back up here on top. We've sort of stopped his run and it's been a great season so far and we look forward to the rest of the year.
Congratulations, Matt Mladen, your winner here at Road America.
Of course, there is another streak that continues. Suzuki having won every race so far this year. And the battle in the Hondas, Jake Zemke beat Miguel to the line.
And like I said earlier, kind of a surprise. Miguel struggled a little bit in the middle and toward the end of the race there. It was very close at the start-finish line for that last podium position.
And the Jordan Suzukis ended up going 9, 10, and 11 with Pridmore beating Rapp for 9. We're coming right back. We'll talk to Ben Spies after this.
Well, Ben, you really put on a great show for us, and we appreciate it. I know you wanted to win this race, but still, it was a fantastic race. Tell us about it from your perspective.
Yeah, the streaks got in sometime, you know. I mean,
I wasn't going to mention the streak, man.
We tried as hard as we could, and he got a bit of a gap on us, you know, right in the middle part of the race, and I just put my head back down and actually went faster than I did in qualifying. We got into the 11s and, you know, got right up on him, and when I got up on him, I only had a lap behind him to really breathe and settle down. And last lap, I got right up on him, made a big mistake going down into, I think, maybe 8 or something, and lost about 20 bike lengths, made it back up, and then I was a bit further back on the lapper deal and had to run in there on the last corner, ruin my drive. So we couldn't get it, but hopefully we can make some changes to the bike and come back tomorrow and win one.
All right, congratulations, Ben Spies, second here at Road America.
Well, this will impact the points. Ben was hoping to blow the points wide open. Now it's only a 25-point gap, and Freddie, the door now is officially open, and the championship battle is on.
Well, the key is Matt Mladen did exactly what he needed to do. He struggled the last few races, you know, had some problems, learned a couple of things, and went out and came from behind and won the race.
Race number 2 from Road America, you'll see here on Speed as well tomorrow. For Greg White and Freddie Spencer, I'm Ralph Shaheen. So long from Road America.